Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Shaun here from the Natural Gamers, and so last video I looked at the Sonic Generations demo, and it kind of talked a little bit about Sonic and kind of my history with Sonic, and it kind of just got me back into playing my old Genesis games. So I dug out my old Sega Genesis Model 2 here, and kind of looking through my games and stuff, and I don't know. Just want to do kind of a quick rundown, I guess, on the games that I have. I'm kind of getting back into, I guess, collecting Genesis games recently, so probably be getting some more and stuff, and maybe later on I'll do some videos that kind of like just showcase one of the games or something like that, and you know, I don't know. We'll go from there. So let's just start this thing out here. Well, first the Sega Genesis 6-pack. The 6-pack there has Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, Super Hang-On. You know, it's pretty cool. It's a good way to just get a couple solid games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, all pretty awesome. The other two, you know, take them or leave them, but you know, they're there. A little bit extra value for you. And then we got Aladdin on the Sega Genesis, which is one of my favorite Genesis titles. It was also released on the Super Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo version is, in my opinion, it's a little bit inferior, which is usually the other way around. Usually, you know, it's the Super Nintendo one is usually the better of the two when it came to this stuff. But hey, well, this time Genesis got it right. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, of course. Actually, I think I have a few copies of these. One of my all-time favorite games, the classic, never gets old for me. Super Street Fighter 2, another classic, actually really fun. I don't know which one's better, if it's like the Super Nintendo one or this one. I think they're kind of both the same, but as far as like quality goes and controls and everything like that, it's pretty awesome. I definitely do. This is one of my all-time favorite fighter games. The only newer kind of fighters I guess I'd probably really enjoy are the Soul Calibur series, and that's just because they're different. There's something else, you know. I always I have fun with them for a couple hours, and then I'm kind of done. Like, I have no urge to be like competitively good at those games or anything. So next up, Maximum Carnage. Yes, this game is a game I really like, and it's definitely not for everybody because it's not a great game. It really isn't. It's not really anything special. It's kind of a very straightforward beat 'em up, and you can play Spider-Man and Venom, but it's okay. Like, I think people are kind of split on whether they actually like this game or not. But it's got some awesome intro music, if you remember. I don't know, it's like the first 2/3 of this game are like pretty easy, and then the last third is just like just a giant fuck you. Like, that's what you feel like the game is saying to you, just go fuck yourself, you know? Pitfall, The Mine Adventure, an awesome game. It's totally a classic, not really much to say about that one, but it's a game I really like. Another copy of Sonic 2, because you know, you can never have enough copies of Sonic 2. Vector Man. Now this is actually a cool game. This is not a game I played when I was growing up. I did not get a chance to play this until I was older, but it's actually really fun. Like, I was really impressed with this game. It's the sprite and the animation, the graphics and stuff. It's not bad for a Genesis era. I think it's one of the later eras. But I don't know, not bad at all. Pretty good, and you can get this really cheap too. It's probably like maybe $4 or $5 to get Vector Man. Earthworm Jim 2, another one of my all-time favorite Sega Genesis games, but it's really cool. Really like this one as well. It's just action-packed, great like level variety. It's a lot of fun. Kid Chameleon. Now this game, you know, I like this game overall. I don't think it's. Some people consider it to be like a classic, like they love it. Myself, like, I think it's okay. I think it did a lot of really cool things at the time. I think if I had probably been more into this when I was younger, I'd probably have fonder memories. Like, I'd be, you know, be able to look back with those kind of nostalgic eyes. But as a game, playing it nowadays, it's okay. It's okay. It holds up alright. And of course, if you're gonna have Street Fighter, you gotta have a Mortal Kombat game, at least one of them. And Mortal Kombat 2, probably arguably the best of the Genesis generation fighters. Just a lot of fun. What are you gonna say? It's Mortal Kombat. It's cool. Another kind of classic game, at least in my opinion, is Comix Zone. Ridiculously hard. It's unfairly hard, actually. If you can't get through like the first 2/3 of the game without dying, a lot like Maximum Carnage, then you have no shot at the end. Some people like it, but a lot of people kind of feel like it's overrated, but I kind of think it's underrated. X-Mutants. Not that great. Not much to say about this. Kind of like it's almost like a Metroid, Castlevania-esque kind of like platformer, I guess. That's the best way to describe it. It's kind of like, it kind of rips off those things a little bit, but overall, I haven't really spent too much time with it. I'll probably play it some more some other time, but I don't know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what is this called again? The Hyperstone Heist, which is basically the Genesis port of Turtles in Time. It's not as good as Turtles in Time, but it's pretty close. But it's the Genesis alternative to that. It's almost the same game. I think it might be a little bit shorter actually, but you can. It's super easy. I think me and my friend beat it in probably, I think like 25 minutes, maybe even less than that. But it's entertaining nonetheless. Another one, The Lion King. Really good game, really hard, but the difficulty comes because probably the controls are a little spotty on it. They're a little loose, like the jump detection and stuff is a little off. So that's kind of what adds to the difficulty of it until you're like super used to it. The difficulty of it is not totally fair, but you know, it's okay. It's alright. Toe Jam and Earl, Panic and Funkatron. This is actually a really entertaining game. It's a two-player game. It's, you know, pretty much just a basic platformer and action kind of game, kind of solving puzzles and whatnot, but totally different than the first Toe Jam and Earl, which I regret. I used to actually own the first Toe Jam and Earl, and I traded it, and I've been regretting it ever since because it's kind of not a totally rare game, but it's a little bit expensive if you want to buy it again. I think it's like 20-25 bucks if you want to get Toe Jam and Earl, and I bought it for like 10. And I don't have it anymore. BattleTech, classic kind of shooter strategy type game. It's like an overhead perspective, a lot of fun. So we got here, X-Men 2 Clone Wars. Yes, the original Clone Wars. This is a really fun game. Also very tough though. Like once you get like past the first few levels, really tough. It's just like a side-scrolling action game, but really fun. Definitely better than the first X-Men game on the Genesis, but even though that game's not like terrible or anything like this is probably slightly superior. Sonic Spinball. That's okay. I was never like super into it. I think I got it for probably like $1. It says $4.99 in here, but I definitely did not pay $4.99 for this. It's okay. Like nothing much. It's pinball with Sonic. And you can use some certain kind of Sonic-centric kind of super power crap, but it's okay. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I don't think I really need to say anything about that. It's awesome. Sonic and Knuckles, also. What do I gotta say about that? This is actually probably after 2 my favorite is Sonic and Knuckles. Actually, it's definitely cool because they kept everything that worked about the Sonic, series up to that point, and actually added like a few new things, and the addition with Knuckles, and that you can play like 2 and 3 with Knuckles is pretty fucking awesome because there's some really cool stuff you can do with Knuckles. Knuckles was enough like Sonic, but enough different to just add a lot of variety and a different way to get through the levels, and it was cool. Rocket Knight Adventures, also one of my all-time favorite games on the Genesis. Right next to Sonic 2, this would be my number 2 like favorite game. I've played through this so many times, and it never gets old for me. It's just a great old school platforming action game made by Konami. It's fantastic. But this game kicks ass, and you can get it for pretty cheap on eBay or even on Amazon. So if you have a Sega Genesis and you want to play an old Sega Genesis game, this is the one to get. A couple here. General Chaos is like a strategy game. Jungle Strike, it's a helicopter shooter game. Ghouls and Ghosts. Kind of the Ghosts and Goblins type game, Super Ghosts and Goblins for the Super NES. This was kind of like one of the first ports of this game. It used to be an arcade game. Fucking love this game. Hard as shit. You can just spend hours and hours and hours with this game, and I have, and it's pretty awesome. Streets of Rage 2. Fun. Nothing much to say about that. Just kind of your standard shooter game, or not shooter. Sorry, beat 'em up game. Ren and Stimpy's Invention. This game kind of sucks, to be honest with you. It's a platformer, another platformer, and it just kind of blows. It's just kind of a mediocre platformer. Tiny Toon Buster's Hidden Treasure. Probably about the same kind of feelings that I have about Ren and Stimpy. Like, it's a mediocre platformer. This is ridiculously easy. It's pretty much almost zero challenge. Just kind of just turn your brain off to play that game. Also, another one of my favorites, probably my number 3 favorite, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Just you know, if you're at all familiar with old, you know, that era of games, you know about this game, and this is a great game. And incredibly difficult once you get towards the later levels, but so satisfying when you beat it. No cheat codes. I mean, I've used them after the fact, but I have actually beat this game. And then I have Jeopardy, because, you know, what game collection would you complete without Jeopardy? The Game Genie. Gotta have one of those. You know, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, just like, you know, because I prefer playing on the actual console. That's why I still collect these games. Not only just because I like to be a collector, but it, you know, when you play them on emulation or even the Wii Virtual Console, they just, like, there's something missing there. They're just slightly off. Like, it's not usually a big deal, like, especially on emulators if you're gonna play like an RPG, if you want to play like Final Fantasy 3 or something like that. Like, it's usually, that's not like that big of a deal, because those games aren't like control response based, you know. But if you try to play like Super Mario World or like Sonic the Hedgehog or even like any of these old, like, kind of old, like, beat 'em up games, or even like X-Men 2 Clone Wars, when you try to play them on emulation, they're not very good. Like, yeah, they're just not very good. Like, you know, the controls are off. There's just something about them that just, like, whatever happens in the programming, it doesn't translate perfectly. I mean, I've even done it where it's like, you know, you get the USB plug for so you can use like a Genesis, like you can use your Genesis controller, your Super Nintendo controller, your NES controller, you know, with the computer for the emulators, and it's still off. There's just something, there's like a delay, and it totally affects these kind of games, you know, those kind of games that I mentioned. Well, I mean, I'm kind of a purist. I mean, I play it on old TV here, you know, nothing fancy, no high definition. I had it hooked up to the screen we usually are sitting in front of before, and it's just like, you know, I kind of like having a little corner all to itself here. Like, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm being a vintage video game snob in that way, but like, I don't know, it's okay though. Like, that's just the way I like to do it. You know. So what do you guys think? Do you guys, like, what are your favorite Sega Genesis games? Let's just keep it to Sega Genesis. Like, what are your favorite Sega Genesis games? And if you have your own collection, what are they? And do you still collect games and stuff like that? Like, you know, I'd love to hear about that kind of stuff, and definitely would love to talk to you guys about that. So that's gonna about do it for me today. I'm Shaun, and I'm the Natural Gamer, and I will talk to you next time I have something to talk about.